Dazzling musical numbers, lavish set design, and intricate costumes, the Koka Revue is a stage built for the brightest stars. In a year with so many long-awaited sequels and exciting new original projects, my most anticipated anime of the summer is here, Kageki Shoujo. Unfortunately, despite the manga's official English release, it seems to have garnered little buzz in the community, if how long I have to scroll down any chart to find it is any indication. Based closely on the real theater of the Takarazuka Revue, the story follows former idol Narita Ai and tall, bubbly Watanabe Sadasa's entrance into the Koka School of Musical and Theatrical Arts, a prestigious all-girls academy for those who wish to shine under the bright lights of the Koka stage. While Sadasa makes quick enemies with her wish to become Koka's top star, Ai wants to simply blend in quietly, away from the demons of her past, very quickly putting the two at odds. The manga by Kumiko Saiki began in Shueisha's seinen magazine, Jump Kai, before getting picked up for serialization in the shoujo magazine, Melody. It's a fitting switch in demographic, as the series' roots in classic shoujo is clear right from the start. Resident otaku Sadasa introduces herself via her wish to play Lady Oscar in Koka's Rose of Versailles adaptation, and repeatedly references famed shoujo works, like another Ryoko Ikeda classic, Dear Brother, or the Yuri title, Maria Watches Over Us. But Kageki Shoujo's connections are more than just a checklist of name drops. The style of these works is built into the story, from the all-girls boarding school and senpai-kohai relationships vaguely reminiscent of Class S dynamics, to its core conflicts and character arcs exploring heavier content that challenges the reader. Fans of 2018's Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight may jump at the premise, and title, as both take inspiration from the Takarazuka Revue. However, where Revue Starlight uses bombastic set pieces, musical sequences, and an abstract narrative in its critique of the top star system, Kageki Shoujo is much more grounded in its portrayal of the Takarazuka theater, sharing virtually everything with its real-life counterpart, minus the name. It's focused more on the real day-to-day of life in the academy, issues its students may face, and finally its place in the larger sphere of Japanese theater. On that note, let's look at the history and structure of the Takarazuka Revue to best understand what you can expect to see in Kageki Shoujo. The Takarazuka Revue is an all-female theater troupe which originated in the city of Takarazuka in 1913. Performances historically began as a collection of song and dance numbers and later developed into more Broadway-style musicals still seen today, ranging anywhere from adaptations of Western stories like Sherlock Holmes or Romeo and Juliet to popular Japanese media like The Rose of Versailles and even Ace Attorney. Women play all parts in each production, split into otokoyaku, those who play male roles, and musumeyaku, those who play female roles. The plays are typically marked with high drama, beautiful musical set pieces, and an explosive climax featuring a grand staircase and a raquette-style dance line. At the forefront is each play's leading otokoyaku, or top star. Currently split into 5 main troupes, each has its own top star. Naomi Miyamoto writes, "The top star is paramount in the Takarazuka Revue. She features in every performance of her troupe, and every production is created for her. She appears in most scenes during the performance, and also sings and dances many solos. Positioning this star in the middle of the stage is a top priority, even if such positioning does not correspond to the plot of the original foreign production or novel. This policy is applied not only to the stage, but also to every company activity. In the official magazines, on TV programs, and during company events, the top star always stands in the center." The top star's term is limited, however, generally serving only a few years before handing over the role to a younger performer. The Takarazuka Music Academy, one of the most exclusive schools of theater in the world, sets this structure, as students train for 2 years before being given 7-year contracts into the troupes and moved into the hierarchy. Kageki Shoujo's Koka School is directly structured around the Takarazuka Academy itself. Much like Koka, thousands apply each year, with typically no more than 50 getting in per class. Once there, they go through a difficult training program with strict regulations. Even Koka's feature of making first years clean the grounds is a custom of the Takarazuka school. Of course, the top star system lends itself to a highly competitive environment, so Sadasa's dream of playing Oscar puts her right in the center of everyone's ire. Takarazuka highlights the performativity of gender, not only in the otokoyaku, but the musumeyaku's exaggerated femininity as well. A performer's role is not decided purely by their ability, but their physical traits too. Height, stature, facial features all play into the path an actress can take. While Takarazuka's conceit ostensibly provided a direct rebuke of restrictive gender conventions, its foundation and structure was, at least initially, highly patriarchal. Hoping to attract tourism to the city, Ichizo Kobayashi founded the theater on the motto, purity, honesty, and beauty, and kept close to the ideal of Ryosai Kenbo, or good wife, wise mother, set forth in the Meiji Civil Code. Actresses' appearance and behavior were tightly regulated and strictly enforced. It's a running thread through Takarazuka's history, the conflict between its image of empowerment and progressiveness and its conservative power structure. Nevertheless, the Takarazuka Revue became another key part of a burgeoning girls' aesthetic first set forth in contemporary girls' magazines, where female audiences could engage in a space belonging to them, detached from societal norms and the male conception of womanhood. Deborah Shamoon writes, although they were controlled by patriarchal interests, because girls' magazines and Takarazuka were perceived as an all-girls space, both provided girl readers and audiences with the sense that they were inhabiting a private world, apart from adults. The Revue's relationship with its audience has been at the center of its development since its inception. While originally designed as a new form of family entertainment, through time its audience became overwhelmingly female. Fan culture was a critical part of even pre-war Takarazuka, with its first official fan club formed in 1934. As with shoujo magazines, these clubs offered a private space for girls in which they could communicate. It allowed a freedom of expression rarely felt elsewhere, serving as a crucial spark in the girls' culture that would continue to develop through the 20th century. Takarazuka fans follow a highly regulated code of behavior. Fan clubs for individual stars participate in activities like obtaining and distributing tickets, forming a guard in front of the stage door, setting what they chant and wear at performances, including uniforms, and more. Such activity is highly coordinated and behavior strictly enforced, not just out of enjoyment for the performances, but the respect and safety of the performers. While it may initially seem similar to idol fandoms from the outside, this combination of Takarazuka fans' strict rules, level of involvement, and historical gender makeup set the two apart. Kageki Shoujo examines this dichotomy between idol culture and the Takarazuka Revue's fan customs through Ai's arc. The former idol left that world as a direct result of negative experiences with fans that became a trigger for past trauma. She found escape in the isolated, controlled environment of the Koka Academy, and in particular, its all-female student body. It's not so interested in a critique on idol culture, but using this gender divide as a means to explore Ai's character. For as close as Takarazuka fans may sound to the theater itself, management efforts to quell such notions cropped up throughout the years, be it a result of love letter fan mail or relationships between the actresses themselves. However, even as restrictions on direct communication between the actresses and fans would tighten, it couldn't silence the culture that had developed from them, or what Takarazuka meant for women, and perhaps especially queer women, taking part in it. Amy Oakes writes, fans can find pleasure in the possibilities of the bodies on the stage. Possibilities to either challenge gender norms and take on male roles like the otokoyaku, or possibilities of desire for or from the otoko or musumeyaku. The gendered nature of the troupe was conceived as a counter to kabuki theater, where women were banned from performing in the early Edo period. While not as codified now, kabuki's all-male model still mostly holds true today in its larger stages, but it originally developed as onna kabuki, in a style similar to the Takarazuka Revue as an ensemble with all parts played by women. Kageki Shoujo directly incorporates the gendering of both theater styles, most notably through Sarasa. Her original wish is to perform as Sukeroku in the famous kabuki play, but she's told she can't, of course. Instead, she finds her new dream in playing Oscar when she sees a Takarazuka performance, or Koka, of Rosa Versailles with her grandmother. Through this lens, both leads come from this male-dominated sphere and into the girl space of Takarazuka. Taken together, Kageki Shoujo weaves these ideas of the top star, fandom, and gender performance into a narrative on dealing with trauma and mental health in a toxic environment and opening your heart to others. This is by no means an exhaustive look into the Takarazuka Revue. You couldn't possibly condense a 100-year history into a 10-minute YouTube video, especially one as complex and culturally significant as Takarazuka. Hopefully, though, this context will let you get the most out of this intriguing new anime. With Kazuhiro Yoneda directing and Tadashi Morishita on series composition, both with experience in shoujo anime coming from the Yona of the Dawn adaptation, the anime looks to be in good hands. Saiki's work is a love letter to this theater, and the classic shoujo works of which she must be a fan. It doesn't only use Takarazuka as a framing device for its narrative, but draws its core ideas out of its style and history. With that, the stage is set. See for yourself what awaits under the brilliant lights of Kageki Shoujo.